What's up, you guys? Mage Bun back again, aka Harambe the Monkey, rest in peace. And today I'm bringing you guys a tutorial on how to do SM Cathedral and Armory. Starting off with the gear, I do have some different gear this time. I'm actually rocking the Necropile set out of Sholo. I got the 4-piece, which gives me 15 extra resistances. Really what I'd recommend though is having some sort of frost res, at least around 50. So get some cheap rings for the frost res. Talents wise, you want to have the same talents pretty much for Mara, except Shatter version. So Shatter spec with the magic absorption talents on the arcane side. I'm going to do my best to explain this as a beginner tutorial for you guys because I did spend some time. So at the beginning here, some people just kill this first mob. I actually like to kill the entire row of mobs, and I'll show you guys why in a little bit. Shoutouts to Azzy WoW for his videos on this farm, as well as Taylol. He helped me learn this pull, and if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have this down, so I'm glad they helped me out. I do a traditional Cone of Cold shatter with these guys with the Flame Strike. Just burn them down. The name of the game for this dungeon, you want to have your PvP trinket, very important. You want to have your ice block up just in case. And if all fails, if you really want to spend the money on it, bring a free action potion. What that's going to do, it's going to allow you to not be slowed for 30 seconds. So when you're at a pivotal part of the pull, that's a lot to say, and you really want to get all the mobs gathered and make your way to the kill spot, sometimes you will be using a free action potion just to secure that. Now, if you're getting slowed, I highly recommend you wait out the slow sometimes if it's only the 3-second Frostbolt. If it's the 15-second slow they hit you with, you will have to trinket it. And I highly recommend not using your ice block for any of the slows if you can avoid it, because the boss, if you're going to be doing the boss pull here, he has a chance to stun you, and you cannot trinket out of that. So you have to ice block it. Otherwise, you're probably going to die. So the reason why I pulled all those mobs at the beginning, if you don't, or killed them, sorry, if you just Frost Nova them and then go open the door and start this pull, by the time you make it out of this door, you're going to have a group of like 10-15 mobs in your face, already potentially slowing you with Frostbolts, already doing mad damage to your barrier. As a beginner, or even just for consistency's sake, I really would recommend doing the pull like this. If you're going to pull the boss, which I recommend pulling the boss, because if you aggro the boss, he pulls all the side rooms, he pulls the entire cathedral, and you don't have to take any damage while you're doing that. So it's definitely the best method for pulling Cath, in my opinion. You're going to get here. If it takes some time to avoid the patrol, or time to avoid the patrols that are walking around to make sure you don't aggro them, just wait them out. They'll always path out of the way. Pre-barrier here. So we're waiting a little bit. Counterspell, blink through these mobs. If you do that, you'll never aggro them. And see, now there's no mobs on our ass. Go ahead, Fire Blast him through the door. Arcane Explosion, because they won't pull otherwise. Jump on top of that corner. And you're going to be cutting corners here. At least upstairs. And the reason why you cut these corners is it forces the mobs to go up the staircase instead of cutting right through the corner, so you buy yourself more time. Put your Frost Ward on, by the way, when you leave the door. Always have your Frost Ward on at all times. You want to walk to this waterfall, let the mobs kind of catch up and then jump down. That'll force them to path back. Now they're kind of right there. It's scary. You're going to jump up here, Arcane Explosion, blink through. Now I still do cut these corners here, but the mobs can actually just completely follow you through these little holes. So no matter what, they're going to catch up on the bottom floor. Don't worry, as long as you do the blinks at the right times like I did. Right here, you're going to have blink up again. Right as our barriers are down, there's probably 40 mobs behind us, whatever. We blink again. Jump up here on this ledge. What that does, it forces the mobs to take this ledge path. You can kind of see it behind me. They were on that ledge. Now we're going to do the corner strat again. You're cutting these corners. Have your ice barrier or your frost barrier up, your frost ward. Right here, I popped my gyro freeze trinket. Or I popped a little bit before that. That's an engineering thing, so it can reflect all frost spells for 5 seconds. Normally I would pop it here. I kind of screwed up. I was actually trying to pop frost ward and I popped that on accident, but just another failsafe. Jump on this ledge. Here you can bandage, you can wait for your ice barrier, you can wait for your frost ward, and that's exactly what I'm using it for. I'm waiting for my blink and my ice barrier. So now let them catch up for a second, blink through. Right here, you want to RP walk. So I got slowed, so it kind of actually helped me out, but you want to have a binding for RP walk to get into this spot at an angle. And then find the sweet spot. See right there, I blizzarded, they didn't get slowed because they were still stuck from the being de-aggro. You're going to find this sweet spot where you walk back and forth with the RP walk on. and it's going to put them in a situation where they're forced to path up and down, and you're able to get this blizzard on top every time. Then you put a blizzard kind of on the staircase, and that slows all the mobs going around the corner as well. Now the boss, how to deal with him. There's a reason why I marked him, and it's because I want to see exactly where he's at to get to know what I should be doing as far as time. Should I walk back? And what I'm doing here is pretty much every time he comes through, I try to hit him with a cone of cold or a fire blast or something, just to burn him down a little bit quicker here. Now these mobs are humans, which means when they get low health, they will start to flee. And you'll see the way I handle that in a little bit here. Because the mobs will start to flee, and then they're all going to run back at you at once. So you just want to make sure that you're in a good position when they're running back so they don't just clap you. See those mobs right there? They start running away. I'm keeping an eye on the boss. Every time he gets close, I try to not let him hit me too much. Refresh my ice ward, or frost ward, my barriers. See, I waited for the mobs to come back. I knew they were coming back on top. That way I can blizzard them and not have to worry about the mobs getting disaggregated. Some are on the bottom, some are on the top. We're getting close to the final kill phase here. So it might take you time to get this spot down as far as where to stand, where to go back and forward. What I highly recommend is what Azzy said as well. You want to pull one melee mob, then come to the spot and just practice it. Practice it till you get it perfect, and then by the time you have the whole crew on you, you'll be totally fine. So now, Morgrain's almost dead, but we don't want him to die up there. We want him to die down here, and I'll explain why in a second. This also LOSs all the casters, so they stop casting on you, they come back. We're going to burn down Morgrain real quick. Freeze them. I took some unnecessary damage there, so you could barrier. Pyroblast. I'm losing my mind. Flame Strike. Just burn these mobs down. They're not a threat. It's no big deal. The Abbot is a melee, so he'll do a little bit more damage, but they're gone. It's no big deal. Kill this last dude over here. Now, right now, what we're doing is getting ready to fight the second boss. If you've ever done this pull normally, you know when you kill Morgrain, you have to then fight the other boss, the healer, and she will resurrect Morgrain, and now you have to fight them both at full health. So we're going to avoid that. And I'm going to show you guys the strategy. So you want to evocate, bandage up if you're worried about it. This dude, you don't have to kill him. For some reason, he didn't pull, and I was like just annoyed by it. So I'm like, you're going down, buddy. Like, it's over for you. By the way, you can see that my homie is looting in the group. This is where I recommend people loot so it doesn't disappear, is when I'm getting ready to deal with this boss. That way, by the time I'm back over there, they have time to dip and get out of there so they don't accidentally aggro the boss or proximity, whatever. So right here, you're going to pull her, and you're going to want to run out so that she gets out of that room. If she stays in that room while you're fighting her, she'll bug out, and she will resurrect Morgrain all the way across the nation. And you don't want that. So I actually screw up this phase here. I still managed to pull it off, but I'm going to tell you guys how to do it even better than I did. So what you want to do, and you'll get the sweet spot here, you'll start to realize what health she's going to be at when she will put you to sleep. Because at a certain threshold, around 50% or less, she will put you to sleep for 10 seconds. Right here, what I should have done is you want to frostbolt and then immediately blink towards the door. But I fire blasted and got greedy. So she put me to sleep immediately. If I would have blinked here, I would be way ahead of her, and by the time my sleep runs out, my blink will be almost back up, and I'm able to damage her as she's running. But this is the reason why we killed the boss downstairs. It forces her to go down this pathing so we can catch up to her a little bit. We go straight ahead, she goes around the stairs, and ideally what you want to do here, you want to kill her right as the resurrection goes off. If you kill her before that, you won't get any boss loot from either boss. So we got lucky here. We got frame perfect. We managed to get her right as she was about to heal herself. If I would have waited 1 millisecond later, she would just instantly kind of lay on hands herself, full heal, and we'd have to fight both the bosses. If that does ever happen to you, don't worry. Do exactly what I'm doing here. Make Morgrain path back and forth. She will be stationary. She'll stand in place and cast spells that you'll probably resist anyway. So you'll just be doing this exact thing right here, but you'll be burning her down first. Then afterwards, you'll fight Morgrain. Super simple. Now, what to do if you guys get slowed by the frost bolts? I kind of talked about it earlier. You want to be trinketing out as much as you can. Use your trinket when you know it's the right time. Ice block if you have to. Keep your frost ward up at all times. If you do that, you should be fine. You might die a little bit, but you'll be good. Okay, we're going into Armory now. Kill these 2 mobs just like SM. Now, Armory for me was a tough one. I don't know why, but I found it a lot tougher than Cath. And I'm going to try to explain everything I can to you guys so it makes it easier for you, because now I finally feel like I have it down. The name of the game for Armory. The pole is pretty simple itself. Really what you have to be aware of is when you're going into your ice block, you want to make sure you have your shields up. Preferably Ice Barrier, Mana Shield, and Fire Ward. Now you'll see here I don't get that all off, and it's very sometimes hard to be able to get that perfect, but if you can, you know, perfect world, that's what you want to have going into your Ice Barrier. So you're going to be going through here. I'm telling you, if you ask my friends how fucked up this dungeon was for me, like I was like a clown in a circus, dude. Like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. It was so not clean. And my homies would be like, no, dude, you got it. It's fine. Like you killed it. And I'm like, no, I did not. Like that was the sketchiest thing. I have like 10 health. I'm like bandaging on the side, like rank 1 Kona Colding and shit. It was horrible. So we're going to tell you how to avoid all that. These guys, they will path out of your way, similar to inside the Cathedral. Just give them time. You don't want to pull anything early. It'll make you have to reset or start the pull early. So one thing I'll tell you guys in advance, when you come out of the ice block, the biggest, toughest part of this dungeon is them resisting your Frost Nova. And if that ever happens, there's a few ways to tackle that. One, bring a limited vulnerability potion. If things get scary, always have that on deck. I know it's not something you want to have to use, but bring it just in case. We're getting mana up here. We're pre-barriering, just like the inside of Cath. So when we start this pull, we want to be able to have another ice barrier pretty much on command when we take too much damage. But yeah, out of the ice barrier, or ice block, you want a Nova. Mobs will resist you often. I don't know why, but they will. I like to rank 1 Blizzard here so they're not right on my ass. Pull him. We're going to be using max range jumping Arcane Explosions for all of these mobs as much as we can. Get them. I accidentally pulled them, but it's fine. Blink through. Arcane Explosion. Arcane Explosion. Pull them early too. Usually you don't want to do that. You know, you want to try to get them one at a time. Now here is where I'm going to Nova the mobs to keep them off of me. Go towards the bottom of the stair or top of the stairs, then Arcane Explosion with a jump to max increase my max range. Get these guys, get those guys. Now I am using Mana Shield here just to take a little bit less damage. Right here, you're going to have to counterspell a mob on the left. It is tight. If you can't get it, don't worry about it for your first few runs. But that's what you want to do. Then you blink. Now we're going to be cutting corners just like SM Cath to get the mobs. Here you have to jump to get these mobs on the left. I have my fire barrier up to try to mitigate that damage as much as possible. Now we're not going to cut a corner on this last one. We're going to let them catch up a little bit. Blink right as they're zoning in. You're going to take some damage a lot of times, but try to mitigate it. I saved my ice barrier for this moment. Now we're going to block. Let them all gather. If they resist you here, my best advice, immediately cold snap and Nova again. I think we got lucky here. Yeah, no resists. So you want to wait, watch their Frost Nova timer, and you want to Blizzard them right as they're coming out of the Frost Nova so that they're all in a good group and they're packed together. But you'll see it even gets hairy for me here. Some of them get through for no reason. They start running at me. You'll see. Like right here, he gets through. What do? There's 2 of them, you know? Just tank it. As long as it's not a defender, don't worry about it. I like to nade here to kind of get them more grouped. And right here, we're going to do the Kona Cold Flame Strike combo. Now, there's tons of mobs on us. They could clap us in a second. What you want to do, Arcane Explosion, the ones that are almost dead, to build yourself kind of a little bit of a path. I know I'm taking tons of damage here. I popped a health potion. You could Mana Shield, you could Ice Barrier, do whatever you have to do and kite them around until your barriers come back up, until your Nova comes back up. Just take out the mobs that are almost dead. It will save your life, because if you don't, they'll all start coming back at you, and you'll not be able to finish this pull. So like I said, out of the ice block, Nova again. If you still get a resist, make sure you sheep them immediately, blink away, and start your pull like that. Hope this helped you guys. That's the best way I've learned to do this, and I've got it consistently finally. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it helps you.